I agree a lot with what Councilman Muldowney said about following the process, and I hope that process is followed in the future when items like this come forward. What is satisfying me, and the reason I will support this resolution, is the letter from our zoning officer, who ultimately has the final say on a lot of these matters. So after reading his letter and seeing that it's our decision, and if all the stipulations are met, then really we have no reason to hold this back. If going along in the process certain stipulations aren't met, then it's our duty to say no and pull it until those stipulations are met. But in the meantime, I will be voting yes as long as those stipulations are met.
Mr. Scott, in response to that, and AJ, I respect your position, and Mr. Zarowski's position, but again, I have to take a step back to the zoning board meeting. This was not presented to the zoning board as a whole. This was an opinion from the zoning officer without any input, I don't think, probably from the zoning board at this point. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I think the proper procedure, going back to what Mr. Muldowney said, is going back to the original content of it. And this is a case that the zoning board met 2 days prior to the planning board. It was not mentioned at the zoning board, but it was mentioned at the planning board 2 days later.
Well, can I say something? On my letter, yeah, Mr. Moscato, I don't know, maybe I'm reading this incorrectly, but it says on March 26th it was in front of the zoning board, and on April 1st it was the planning board. Oh, that was Mr. Alstrom's letter.
That was the date of the communication.
Okay.
As for myself, to add to this, to the discussion, I'm going by, I mean, Mayor, I agree with you 100% on certain things, but again, when you mention that the zoning officer, his opinion, but not necessarily the opinion of the board itself, the letter that was submitted from the zoning officer, I mean, clearly states in my opinion, and I'll read the opening part of it. Please be advised that the Zoning Board of Appeals at their regular meeting held Tuesday, March 24th, 2009, voted unanimously to grant permission to construct a gravel parking lot at the above referenced property with the following stipulations. Listed are several stipulations. One of the stipulations, other special uses than the parking lot shall be presented and approved by the Common Council. So they made that statement. They left it in our hands, and I think that's the action that we're taking.
Isn't it amazing that there was no mention in all of these stipulations about hot dog ring?
I'm not arguing that point at all. I'm just saying what there's...
It was done to circumvent the zoning board.
My response to the request was I would endorse it as long as all the requirements and stipulations of both the zoning board and the planning board are met. Mr. Joltz said as long as those things are all adhered to, if there is anything that is not done according to those, then I think we have the right to come back and stop whatever you may be doing at that time. At this time, I think the fair thing to do is to grant permission and let it proceed. Is there any other discussion? Councilman Dopes.
Once again, just to add, my interpretation, and I think we can all agree, for number 8 is very general. It's very vague. So if this is something that the zoning board decided at their March 24th meeting, I have to assume, and we all know what happens when you assume, but that they figured something like this could happen. Otherwise, why would number 8 be there? So that's how I'm looking at it.
Any other discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
No.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye. Carried. Out of order.
Loudspeaker applications from the following.
That's what we do.
Northern Chautauqua Conservation Club for live bands and recorded music until 1 a.m. from May 20th through October 1st, 2009. And the Master Walleye Fishing Tournament for a loudspeaker from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the harbor front between Deer Street and the City Pier on August 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
What's your pleasure? Councilman Dolce,
Make a motion, we accept and refer these to our attorney.
second to that?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Okay, me too.
Councilman
Yep.
Muldowney. Any further discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye, carried.
Loudspeaker application from Walleye Willie's for live bands and mechanical music from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. from May 1st through October 31st, 2009.
What's your pleasure? Councilman George,
I'd like to make a motion to accept and refer to the city attorney.
second to that. Second to that,
Oh, I'm
Councilwoman
sorry.
Ferraro.
Yes, I was reading, I'm sorry.
Okay. Any discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye, carried.
Loudspeaker application from James White, Community Care Service Coordinator for speakers and an amplification system in Washington Park from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. for the National Day of Prayer on May 7th.
Pleasure. Councilwoman Ferraro.
Yes. I'm so sorry, I can't read my writing, people, that's why I'm reading it, I'm sorry. But it is me.
Okay, we have a second to the request. Councilman George. Any discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye, carried.
Petition from Iglesias Pentecostal Church requesting to sell candies and cookies outside of their church on 6th Street from 2 to 3 p.m. starting on April 27th until June 12th, 2009 to be used for interior remodeling of their church.
What's your pleasure? Councilman Dolce.
Like to make a motion that we table this request to address many safety concerns that were brought up. So we will look at this again and see if those concerns were addressed.
We have a second to that. Councilman George. Any further discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye. Request table.
Petition from Donna Kubera, the Dunkirk High School advisor, requesting 3 police officers from 7:45 p.m. to 12:15 a.m. on Saturday, May 16th for the junior senior prom.
Councilman George.
I'd like to make a motion to refer to the PBA.
Second to that.
Second.
Councilman Muldowney. Any further discussion? Not, clerk call the roll.
Councilman Dolce.
Aye.
Councilman Muldowney.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ferraro.
Aye.
Councilman George.
Aye.
Councilman Moscato.
Aye. We now go to reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions.